Hey there everyone, welcome back to another episode of Pacific Drive. As always, I'm Captain Beefy. This is the Game Vault, and we're going to do just a quick little video today. I want to show you some of the different settings that are available to you. This game's a lot of fun, but it is challenging. I've had friends of mine that have watched some of the videos. It's like, I don't know if that's for me. It looks too, it looks like a pain in the ass and all that. Well, there are serious ways you can customize this game. So let's cue up the music and we'll get to talking about it. Alright, so first off, right here from the very beginning, before you even launch the game, you have the ability to go into the settings screen and you have accessibility, gameplay, controls, and audio. Accessibility features all the main stuff that you see, or a lot of the main stuff you see in accessibility features in games like camera bobbing, flickering visuals. This one's kind of neat. Close eyes when inside a tumbling car. It can be a little disconcerting. I don't know why that's in there. I mean, it's just part of the game. It's not that big of a deal, but in this day and age, I guess, people get easily traumatized, so maybe that's why that does. Car transition, fade screen when entering or exiting a car. That's all. These are all the defaults, by the way. I only have one non-default setting. We'll talk about it when I get there. But yeah, you got in-car assistive cameras, all this kind of stuff, Basically, all related to motion sensitivity. And all right there. Then you got vision stuff, color deficiency mode. I guess that's if you are colorblind. Maybe that's color deficiency these days, what they call it. I don't know, but maybe there's that the highlight that is on naturally. When you take pieces off of a car, like break down something and it turns a door into metal shards and all that kind of crap. Well, they are lit up a little bit, but you can give them high visibility loot if you want, which I guess makes the item more visible if you're having trouble with it. The game is dark, and if you have problems with vision, this is probably a good one for you to mess with. And then you can manually adjust outline brightness and crosshair fade time. The weather, you can give brighter nights if you want. The nights are really, really dark. We've talked about that. This is something I'm considering just for the sake of making videos, because some of these videos are super dark and it seems like we're out there a lot at night, so I may change this one. I'm going to mess with it in-game to see what that's all about. There's some settings that are only adjustable in-game, like windshield acid splashes for some reason, but in case, here's the weather. Brighter nights, fog intensity, rain particle intensity, windshield rain drops, and then enable lighting. Not sure what that is, but whatever. And a convenience, HUD warnings for fuel, battery, and health, all when they get low. So those are kind of good too. But again, I have stuck with everything just the way it plays out in the game, except for one thing. And let's move over to gameplay and take a look at it. Starting off, you got language, of course, English, and then there's a little bit of variety here on different languages. I don't know what all of them are, but we're going to get back to English here. So there's that. Of course, you got the normal camera stuff like motion blur, brightness, player field of view, and then the car field of view. And this is the one that I adjust, is the car field of view. I think it defaults at 90, and I put it up to 110. And the reason I do that is I can just turn my head a little bit inside the car and see the screen for my ARC device thingy. So it makes it a lot easier just for convenience wise. It feels weird driving. I feel like I'm sitting too far back in the seat, but it's a small sacrifice to make to get that better FOV. So I do recommend doing that. Player FOV feels good walking around and all that at 85. I don't feel like I need to widen that up at all. It feels pretty tight and good. Now here's where the cool stuff starts off. So if you're having trouble with this game, or if this game looks like it's going to be frustrating to you or whatever, this is where you can seriously customize your game and have fun with it. And again, I haven't messed with these, but I can see where the appeal would be. And I could see actually, like, if, late game I want to go farm stuff and I just want to get out there and do some stuff real quick, I could see adjusting these just to farm certain things and make life a little bit easier. And, just save myself some aggravation when I'm out farming. Again, it's your game, you play it the way you want. But for now, I've been playing the game the way it plays, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, you can pause the games while you're in menus. It doesn't do that right now. So when you're in menus, if you got stuff going on out there, like you're in a hostile acid rainstorm, or you got weird anomalies, doing stuff to your car, stuff like that, you're taking damage. If you're taking radiation damage, you're taking damage while you're in a menu. The menu is not paused. You got semi-invulnerable while in menus. Negate ambient radiation damage when inventory menus are open. That's kind of cool. You got the failed run penalty. So right now it defaults at you lose some items. And when it says you lose some items, you lose a lot of items. If you fail, you pretty much don't get anything that you brought or that you found while you were out, and you lose a lot of what you brought with you. Faster nights, I guess that speeds up the nights. And all of these, as you can see, are grayed out because they're available in-game. So once the game is playing, you can go in and make these changes. You can't do it ahead of time, I guess. You just can't start up a new game with these as defaults, which is fine. You can turn car damage and player damage off, which would really take 100% of the challenge out of the game. But again, if you're having a hard time with it, or if you got your kid brother wants to play it, he just can't do it, well, you can help him out a little bit there. Ambient damage, take damage from ambient radiation when present. That defaults to on, and player death is on. So realism. So here's some cool stuff that you can do, and it's not going to break the game like car damage and player damage turned off would. But equipped part swapping. That's a nice one. Swap a part on your car for one in your hand in one interaction. Yeah, that takes away the realism. You're not going to have a tire in one hand and then go pull the tire off of your car, with the other hand, and then put the other tire back on. That's not happening, right? So it's kind of cool, just replace it. But it's a cool feature that you can actually turn that on and speed things up and make it a little less aggravating. Because a lot of times, if you're replacing parts on cars, and I'll attest to this just from doing it, you build a couple parts, you need to replace a few parts or whatever, you're pulling them out of the machine that fixes them while you're out on a run, or you're pulling them out of storage or whatever. You got to pick up several parts, you got to throw them on the ground, you got to pull the parts off of your car, you got to put them wherever they're going to go, and then pick up the parts you want to put on the car, and then put those on the car. So it's a several step process. It could take a little bit. Easy ignition. This is just reducing the whole time to interact with the engine ignition. You can, turn that off or on, whatever. Easy shifter. Tap to shift gears. Makes it quicker to shift the gears. Car protection. Protect player when car doors are closed. And I think the settings in here are when the car is healthy and always, or something like that. I don't know. But like if you're in the car and you've got protection on the car, like you've got lead, it's going to protect you against radiation. If you've got insulation, it's going to protect you against electricity, that sort of stuff. So that's where that works in. Wet weather traction, allow wet weather to affect car handling. It's brutal. It's defaulted to on, and I recommend keeping it that way because, holy crap, when it's raining and you're sliding around and trying to, it's tough, man. It really adds to the immersion of the game. I mean, you're driving a crappy old 1970 something, what do you even call it? The freaking station wagon, You're driving this old POS. So yeah, it's going to handle like crap in the rain, on the mud, and all that kind of stuff. It's absolutely awful. Endless headlights. Use car headlights even if battery is drained. So again, a convenience thing there. Is it game breaking? That one's kind of annoying. That one would be kind of game breaking because part of the game is managing your fuel and your battery, right? Making sure you got plenty of power for each, making sure you brought something to help out with that battery, like a charging kit or whatever, in case you run out of battery on your run, that sort of thing. So, but again, you play how you want. So modifiers here. So resource replenishment. Top up fuel, battery levels, and player health upon return to the auto shop. So this one's not bad because when you get back to the auto shop, you can do all three of those things and it costs you really nothing to do it. Only a few seconds of your time. You can shut off the car, turn it off, put it in park and all that, hop out, go over to the medical station, hold down R1, and you're healed, right? It'll heal you up there in a few seconds, depending on how damaged you are. Then you can run over to the battery thing on the table, throw the switch using R1, and it will charge your car battery up. And then you can run over and to the gas pump, hold R1 down, grab the gas pump, and start filling your car up until it's full, right? So those are three manual things you can do. It could take 10, 15, 25 seconds, whatever, depending on how much fuel you need and all that, how much you need to heal. It could take maybe a few seconds longer. But you can automatically resource replenishment. You turn that on and get all of those immediately upon returning to the auto shop. Not a big deal, right? Successful run, a free repair. Restore the car after a successful return to the auto shop. So anytime you finish a mission, and if your car is damaged and all that, but you're successful and you make it back to the shop, teleport and all that, this is going to repair all the parts onto your car, which would be super useful if you're having a hard time with that. To me, that's kind of a cheeser, and it seems like a little OP. But again, if you want to do something like you just want to go grind out a whole bunch of a certain resource and you have to go to a certain area several times, then why not turn that on? I mean, it's not taking anything away from the game. You're going to get all those resources anyway. Eventually, you just may have to waste other resources repairing your car, and if you just want to get through things as quickly as possible, then yeah, turn it on, man, whatever. Infinite fuel, persistent fuel can, harmful status effects. So yeah, infinite fuel, you never have to put gas in the car. I don't find gas to be an issue in this game. And I'm mid-game now. I've got a spare side tank, and I got a spare tank in the back seat of my car, so I carry a ton of gas around with me. I also have a battery and a couple different ways to actually power up my battery while I'm out there, so battery isn't really an issue either of those two things. Persistent fuel can, I don't know why that's like that, but that one says it's on. I think that's the fuel can that's in your car at all times. I have not tried to throw that out to see if it comes back. I'll have to check that out and see. Dangerous status effects can affect car parts. That's off. I don't know what that would do if we turned it on. I guess, I don't know. I'll have to... It's off, so I'm leaving it off for now. Car quirks. Quirks develop at a standard rate. So car quirks are those weird things that happens. You get in your car and all of a sudden you notice the passenger front door opens up. Why? You got to figure it out. You got to go diagnose the car and figure it out. Say, oh, it's every time I get into the car and put it into drive, then my front right door opens. Bingo. Then you fix it, right? So, but this lets you allows you to determine how often it occurs. If it's the default or if you can make it occur a lot quicker. They're going to keep popping up faster and faster, or I think you can turn it off completely, which is handy if you don't want to mess with quirks. I have found the quirk part of the game to be one of the more entertaining aspects of the game. Finding a quirk in your car and trying to figure out what's causing it, and it's like a hit and miss type thing. And usually it's easy to figure out what the quirk is. Like I mentioned, the driver's side or the passenger side front door opening up. I've had that happen at least 2 or 3 times in the game so far. And I think twice it was the same thing that did it, but the third time it was something different. So it's easy to diagnose the actual quirk. And then you got to go in and you got to say, well, when does this happen, Well, it happens when I get in the car. So maybe it's when I get in the car. Maybe it's when I open the passenger or the front driver's side door. No, it's not that. Maybe it's when I get into the car and close that door. No, it's not that. Is it when I turn the ignition on? No, it's not that. Is it when I turn the put the car into gear? Ah, there it is. So yeah, you can diagnose those quirks. It's a lot of fun. Take a little bit of time, but I find that to be a rewarding part of the game. Consistent quirks. Quirks reliably occur when their conditions are met is off. I guess that means they would keep happening more often. Maybe a quirk only happens here and there when conditions are met. I don't know. Free quirk guesses, free quirk hints. Yeah. That just makes it easier to diagnose those things. I haven't found them to be too difficult yet. They can be a little bit of a challenge, but if you think logically and you really look at everything, every different aspect about your car, every variable that could occur, like I said, the quirk is easy to figure out, right? And you only get a limited amount of guesses, like 8 guesses. So if on the first one you guess the quirk, okay, I got it. If on the second guess you guess you have to start looking and say, well, what's affecting it? What am I doing? Is it when I put the car in gear? Is it when I turn the radio on? Is it when I get out of the car? Whatever. And you got to look at these different things, and eventually you'll get the third and fourth part of the quirk thing where you figure everything out. When I can put the car in drive, the front right door opens. So but you can get free hints on that. Disabling instability and gateway storms it's self-explanatory. Those are the storms, the instability storms. As a region in the game gets more unstable as you pick up more of the anchors, these storms can develop and cause you some craziness, so you can turn those off. And when you summon a gateway, of course, you get that big storm that's closing in on you and closing off the entire region, kind of like a one of those free-for-all games, where the playing field gets smaller and smaller, so you're just hauling ass toward the center of it, trying to get to the gateway while everything's closing in around you. But I guess you could turn those off too. And again, is that fun? I wouldn't find that to be fun, but it's it's something you can do if that's giving you a hard time, or again, if you're just farming stuff out and you just want to make things a little bit easier for you. Controls got all the normal stuff, the toggling crouches and sprints, binding keys or buttons and so forth to different actions in the car and out of the car, in the inventory, in the UI. So yeah, a lot of stuff like that. And of course, audio, the volume on stuff, dialogues, controller volume, subtitles. You do have, here's the other thing I changed, and that is I've put streamer safe mode on for the music, so I am not blasting out copyrighted music when I'm playing the game and getting in trouble for that. But yeah, otherwise everything looks pretty straightforward, right? Yeah. So again, the game's highly customizable. If you're concerned about the difficulty of the game, well, when you look through there, you can make the game as challenging or as easy as you want to. And if you just want to have a mellow run one night, you can turn off all the hard crap, turn off the instability storm, turn off all that other crap, and just run out there and have a good time. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, please leave a like on it down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. I will see you guys next time. Until then, peace.